Okay, peace and love to everybody. Just want to give a big shout out to everybody that has been watching my videos. I know it's been a minute. Well, it hasn't really been a minute. It's only been about a month. But peace to everyone. Big shout out to everyone that follows me on Instagram, watching my videos, always interacting with me, liking, sharing, and so on. Okay, big shout out to you. Big shout out to everybody that subscribed to my channel. So let me get straight to it before I give you too much information. Today we're going to be talking about Black is King. Black is King is a movie slash video album that Beyonce just put out. Pretty much what I'm going to do is break it down as much as I can with the best of my knowledge. I know a lot of people saw the video and some people were only focusing on the dances, some people were focusing on the makeup, focused on Beyonce, focused on the dudes in it, pretty much focusing on everything but the message that's in the video. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I took a few pictures and I'm going to try to break down what I think and what probably she meant, or the message she was trying to relate to people. Okay, you got to remember, when it comes to certain things, you have to be able to move in silence. You have to be able to use subliminals or different things to help juggle people's memory, or just to get people to go and research. So I'm going to break down as much of signs and symbols and so on that I caught from the video, and I'm also going to use some of the quotes from the lyrics and so on. Before we get to it, right? Beautiful hat, right? I know it's dope. That's what I say. This is my design. This is my company, or this is my cap. On the back, it says year of return, 1619 to 2019. Some people know the dates. But it's available on yearofreturncaps.com. That was my little quick 5 to 10 seconds commercial for myself. Since people don't do it, I got to do it for myself, right? Thank you very much in advance. You have a few, there's only about 8 left, so make sure you grab one. So let's get straight to it. Like I said, this is going to be about the Beyonce video. So as you can see, I'm trying something new. I have a folder right here in my computer, Black is King, that I created from the video. I was able to take some pictures, so I hope this is not like some kind of copyright or anything like that, because this is the only way I can get people to kind of see what it is that I'm talking about, because if you don't know, you don't know. Okay, so let's get to it. This is the first thing that was shown in the video, right? The intro, there's a older man, probably, well, actually no, there's a voice in the background. I forgot the guy's name, but anyway, there's a voice in the background, and first thing that was said was everything is connected. Everything is connected. Once you get deep into spirituality, once you start being exposed to knowledge that has been hidden from you, you understand that everything is connected. It's not really something that I can easily explain. It's something that you have to understand once you get to a certain level, or a different vibration, or different frequency. So a quick example I can say is, think of it as everything is connected. So whatever you do to one person affects the next, or whatever you do to that person is going to affect how they treat the next, something along those lines. So think of it as, maybe there's a box of pizza in front of you, right? People love pizza. Quick example. Let's say there's 6 slices and there's 6 people. So one person gets a slice. If I eat 1.5 slices, it's going to affect the share of everybody else, because now people have to give to that person, or they're just going to watch that person starve, right? So that's the beginning of the video. They said everything is connected, but it's a lot deeper than that. That's just a brief overview. And then you see Beyonce. She has a toddler baby on her arms, and she walks towards an older man. Actually, even before we get to that, what am I saying? Look at the picture right in front of you. This is the picture, and the reason why this is the beginning is because I think this is the River Nile. The reason why I think this is the River Nile is because the River Nile is the longest river in Africa. It's also the river that's responsible for a lot of the civilizations in Africa thousands of years ago, because a lot of civilizations started around the River Nile, because you have a river, so then you have a lot of plants, fishes, and so on, right? If you look at it, starts around Tanzania, I think, goes all through Ethiopia, and goes all the way to Egypt. Okay, this book is by Dr. Ben Yochanan, and that's kind of like a quick description of the Nile River. So it goes all the way from like Ethiopia to Egypt. So that's what I think they're showing you is the River Nile. African people are the children of the Nile, because that's around where civilization started. Civilization is the earliest documented civilization is said to have begun around Ethiopia, and they migrated up north to Egypt, which is how you got the Egyptian history, Egyptian civilization, and so on. Okay, so that's what I think they're showing you right there is the Nile. Then As you can see, Beyonce is carrying a video. I mean, excuse me, she's carrying a baby, and in front of two men. One is older, the other is younger, and they have something in their hand. You can see that, right? See that? You can see smoke coming out of it. That is called sage. What's inside it is most likely sage or something like frankincense. Okay, that is used to cleanse what did I just say? That's used to cleanse the air of negative energy. It's used to cleanse the air of like negative vibrations. Purify also. It's also used to purify. Some shamans actually use it to send their prayers or their requests into the heavens, because smoke rises up north. So they actually use that to send their requests or prayers into heaven. But Africans have been using this for thousands of years. Actually, when I was younger, I vividly remember the smell because my grandma used to sage the house every morning, but I had no idea what it was. It wasn't until like 20 years later that I smelled it, and I'm like, yo, my grandma used to do that, you know? But anyway, so that is pretty much what she's doing. Some people also use the sage to cleanse themselves. For example, maybe if you get a car or if you're about to embark on a new journey, you cleanse yourself before you embark on that journey, right? So think of it that way. So she right now, since this is the beginning of the video, she is cleansing herself as well as the baby before they embark on a journey. Then the next thing that happens was you see a black man, right? Clearly he's black, but he also looks kind of blue. And I think, right, this one, it might sound somehow, but just hear me out first. I think the reason why the man is black and blue is because if you study history, thousands of years ago, they said there were a group of black people, a big group, you know, like a civilization or a tribe, that they were so dark that they were kind of blue. That's why this man is black and blue. Because also, if you notice it, this man is pretty much throughout the video, and he wears different color of powder on him. He goes to like a white powder, a brown powder, a red powder. And I think that's because black people, they call black people colored people. That's why he was changing colors all through the video. That sounds somehow, but just give me one more. Give me one more second to break this next one down. Also, they said that when Europeans got to America, the Africans that were already here were black and blue. Hence the word Native Indians. Indians from the word indigo, and indigo is what? Black and blue. So I think the reason why the first man that you see here, the reason why he's black and blue, is because she's trying to get you to dig into that part of the history where Africans, or there were a group of Africans that were black and blue, right? Look into that if you want. You see what I mean? And then she goes on by saying, history is your future, right? One day you will meet yourself back where you started. Here's the thing with that. History is your future. In order for you to understand the present, you must first know your history. You must know your past. Once you know your past and understand the present, then you'll be able to predict the future, right? A lot of people ignore history, and I think they ignore what? I think they ignore history because, for the most part, one, they make history boring. Two, black folks, you don't even get taught your history to begin with. Like, I vividly remember being in high school in America, and they're teaching me history from US to 1865, and I'm just in class lost and confused because it didn't resonate with me. It didn't relate to me. If they were teaching me true African history, there would have been a part of me that would have connected to it, right? There would have been a part of me that would connect to it, and then I probably would have been eager to learn, but I wasn't. So when it comes to African history, a lot of this stuff has been hidden. A lot of this stuff has been whitewashed, I don't know, put under a rock, however you want to call it. So when she's talking about history as your future, you have to go and learn your history, because you'll be able to understand the present and hopefully help you navigate through the future. Okay. And then another thing that happened after that was they showed Beyonce with, this is one of the things, topics that's going on right now, is they showed her on top of a horse. She clearly has some kind of horns, and then you can see a solar disc, but that's not, it is a solar disc, and I'll tell you why. You see like a circular figure on top of her head. Here's where that comes from. They are trying to show you your history. Your history is that black people are pretty much, ancient Egypt is going to go down as probably one of the greatest civilizations of all time, because they did so much to contribute to every single thing that you have today. A lot of civilizations after ancient Egypt all they did was honestly copy, edit, and paste. That's pretty much all they did. So who she's trying to give pay a tribute to or give respects to here is actually the Egyptian goddess Hathor. Okay, Hathor was known as give me 2 seconds. Hathor is the goddess of, well, she was associated with fertility. She was known as the daughter of Ra. She was associated with beauty. She was known as the mother of all pharaohs. Also, she was known as the Eye of Ra. Who's Ra? Ra is the sun god. So when you have that disc on top of her head, that is representing the sun. Why does that make sense, or why does that matter? That matters because black people are a people of the sun. Okay? You get your energy from the sun. Black people without the sun actually suffer different types of diseases. They have more suicidal rates. They have more depression rates, and so on. So if you're missing vitamin D, if you're not getting energy from the sun, that's probably why you're having a lot of issues. Okay, that's just like a quick breakdown that I can give you. But really, what she was doing is giving respects to the Egyptian goddess Hathor. Okay, she was also she was also associated with fertility. And why do you have a horn? The horn is because Hathor is also referred to as the cow god, right? She was depicted as having horns and also a disc on top of it. So it looks scary to people, but this is pretty much what it was, right? If you were to Google Hathor, you're going to see that she has a statue, or she has statues depicting her with horns and a solar disc. Now here's the thing. This same disc, like I said, it represents the sun. If you go and look at pictures of Jesus Christ, because all they did was copy, edit, and paste, go Google Jesus Christ. You're going to see like a halo. What you guys think is a halo, that's pretty much Jesus standing in front of the sun. It's the sun that's behind Jesus. Same thing that ancient Egyptian did, except they had a different understanding with the sun, and it was a known thing with the sun because they also had the god Ra, which is the sun god. Okay? The Greeks or the Romans, when they started changing things around, they did not let people know that information. So what I just said sounded a little bit weird, but all you need to look up is Hathor, look up the sun god, which is Ra, and then you start to piece a little bit of things together. Egyptian history is African history. The people that started that civilizations are Africans, black Africans, okay, different shades. This is not, because some people hear Egyptian history and they don't feel like it's African history. Egypt is in Africa, okay? Don't waste your time. But yeah, feel free to look that up if you need to. And the thing is, the reason why she's using the horns, or even Hathor herself had horns, is because back in those days, cows were sacred animals. They were held in high esteem, and they were deeply respected. Nowadays, people are just eating cows anyhow. But back in those days, cows were highly respected animals. And also, even up until this day in Hinduism, it's a taboo to kill a cow, harm a cow, or even eat a cow. Okay? So this has nothing to do with demons. This has nothing to do with Caucasians or whatever. This is straight up African history that you can look up. Now let's move on. Oop, I jumped too far. But anyway, then they start talking about some other stuff, and then they change the camera towards the sky. Pretty much after you watch this video, go and watch on the Beyoncé Black King video over. Then you will see that some of the things that I say, you'll be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Anyway, so after this scene, Beyoncé is talking, and then they show like something explode in the sky. And then after the explosion in the sky, this comes up. This is when I got excited, because immediately I knew who these people were. Here's why it got excited for me. Who you are looking at, before they even showed these people, they said, great kings. And I quote, they said, great kings were here long before us. Then the explosion happened, and then they showed these people. Then she said, ancient masters of celestial lore. Let me break that down to you. Ancient masters, you know what that means. Celestial means out of the sky, out of the space, in the heavens, in the cosmos, up there. That's what celestial means. Lore means information that has been passed down orally and kept within a specific group of people. We all know that they say African history has been passed down orally, so she's clearly talking about African people. When she said that ancient masters of celestial lore, she's talking about the Dogon tribe, these are the people you're looking at in front of you, because these people were able to map out the cosmos. They were able to map out Saturn, the stars, and so on without the use of any equipment. And they've had this information. They've had this information for thousands of years. Let me break that down a little bit more, just in case I confuse some people. These are like astronomy experts, right? People that have information on mathematics that people couldn't even fathom. As a matter of fact, the information that they got. So here's some of the things that they were able to map out. They knew that Saturn had 4 moons. They knew that there's a star that you can see one of those stars with your eye, which you can see with the naked eye. But the other star, which is a Sirius B, you cannot see it with the naked eye. But they were able to know that that star existed. White people, Westerners or Europeans, didn't know this thing existed until 1970. The Dogon tribe of Mali that you're looking at had this information thousands of years ago. As a matter of fact, when French astronomers went to go and visit them, they stayed with them for years because they kept trying to study them. They kept trying to see if they were lying or however they knew this information. So they stayed with them. They studied them for years. And that's how they were able to verify that they've had this information for thousands of years. And white people did not get this information until 1970. As a matter of fact, even when they told them, when the white people told the Dogon tribe of Mali that we just got this information, but we use cameras and high-tech equipment and so on, the Dogon tribe of Mali didn't even believe that equipment that would see that existed, because this is just information that they knew. And guess how they said they got this information? They got this information. They say they got this information because they came in contact with aliens, with people from out of space. So remember what I said, right? Celestial means out of space, something in the sky, right? These are people that are also experts in astronomy. So if they're telling you that they got this information from out of space, obviously they're telling some kind of truth here, especially when they didn't have any kind of equipment to know all of that information. But, you know, those Westerners still thought like it was a myth. They still didn't believe them. But anyway, yeah. That's pretty much the Dogon tribe of Mali. Like I said, they knew that Saturn had 4 moons, and then there was a ring around Saturn. These are things that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they just knew it. Okay? Let's move on. So now the video keeps going. They're playing other songs, other things that are happening. And then Beyoncé says, no true king ever dies. Our ancestors hold us from within our own body. Here's what I want you to think about when you hear that. No true king ever dies, right? I tell people that all of that stuff in the Bible, they've copied it from ancient Egypt. They copied it from African spirituality. What she means when she says, what I think she means is, no true king ever dies. Because if you think about it, you are a representation of your ancestors, right? You look like your mother and father, probably, right? You get your personality from them. Who did they get it from? They got it from their grandparents or their great-grandparents. So pretty much who you are now, you are pretty much another version of your parents or your grandparents. So when she says no true king ever dies, it's because you have like the same DNA, like the same blood, you look like them, you talk like them. You're pretty much the same people experiencing the world in a different time zone or a different time span, right? So all of that information is within you. And when she said that our ancestors hold us from within our own body, right? Think of it. Even in the Bible, it tells you the Spirit of God is within you, right? All of that information is within you. You just have to figure out a way to access it. So it's a lot deeper than just our ancestors hold us from within. It's really, really deeper than that. But the information, the answers that you really, really need to navigate through life is all within you. You just got to be able to silence out all the nonsense or all the outside noise, be able to get that information, because the blood of your ancestors still run through you. So who will be able to give you information other than them, especially when they already paved the way for you, right? It's not really rocket science. I don't know how people think when somebody mentions ancestors, it's like, oh, it has something to do with demons, or, oh, you just let your ancestors rest. For what? If I have a grandfather that did everything for my mother, for her to survive while they were here, when I was born, she passed all of that information down. Wouldn't it make sense that when she travels to the next phase, she will still be looking out for me and my family? So why wouldn't I reach out to him or her to find information or to get information? But instead, people want to reach out to somebody that you cannot prove existed. There's a whole bunch of debates. You can't even prove that all these other religions, you can't prove that they existed, but you know for sure your ancestors exist. You know for sure they went through different things in this world. So why not reach out to them? Even if you look at the heaven concept, let's say they die and they go to heaven, right? Let's say they're out there chilling with God. You look like them, you sound like them, their blood runs through you and all those other things. Who are you actually connected to that's now in heaven that you can relay information to that can pass that information to God? Right? Think about it. It could be your grandparent that already died. Like, it's not rocket science. But anyway, let's move forward. Then her song, her and Kendrick Lamar comes on when she's talking about got the Nile running through my body. The Nile, like I said, that longest river in Africa, River Nile, right? So that's what she means. Got the Nile running through my body because this is around where African civilization started. And then Kendrick goes, I'm in the Nile, deep in denial. A lot of people try to deny the African heritage. Some people don't even want to be Africans. And I think I actually skipped a part. Ooh, I got to go back to that one. In the beginning, she said, let black be synonymous with glory. Man, I skipped the part. I can't believe that. She said, let black be synonymous with glory. Here's what she means. Synonymous pretty much means exactly the same thing. So if I say one and I say uno, like synonymous. Maybe that was a bad example. But anyway, the reason why she said that is because if you look in the dictionary, especially back in the days, and even up until today, you might still be able to find it. Black is synonymous with a whole bunch of negative words, right? If you look up the definition of black, you will see dirty, you will see filthy, you will see unpure, you will see evil, you will see unkind, a whole bunch of negative things. So when she says black was synonymous with glory, is because she's trying to get people to change their mentality about black. Not just white people or everybody else, black people themselves. You don't even see yourself as worthy of a lot of high positions or worthy of a lot of positive things, right? But when you look at the definition of white or synonyms of white, you see things like pure, clean, trustworthy, all the positive things. Up until this day, if you look at the dictionary, there's at least 20 words. There's a book by Tom Burrell that talks about brainwashing. I think that's his name, Tom Burrell. And pretty much there's like at least 20 words in a dictionary that has negative connotations to it, that has the word black. So you hear things like blacklist, negative, Black Friday, chaotic, blackmail, bad, black market, bad, blackballed, bad. Like, I can keep going. So psychologically, you're picking up a whole lot of negative things when you read the word black, right? There's a lot more deeper to psychology than people think. So anyway, let's fast forward to where we were. Then, the song in Kendrick Lamar, we're talking about I'm in the Nile, deep in the Nile, that goes on, that passes. Then they move on to the song with Jay-Z, right? And move on to the song with Jay-Z. There's an art in the background, not this one that you're looking at. Over here, you already know who she's pretty much depicting black people as right there. That's a very, very high positive role. Before this, there's a picture in the background that it was actually Childish Gambino. That's the guy that directed Atlanta. So it's very, very hard to see. It was a little bit blurry, but it's actually Childish Gambino in the background. This is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. But one of the most important parts that I caught from this is when she says, my baby father, bloodline Rwanda. Okay, Rwanda right now is rated one of the cleanest countries in Africa, one of the safest countries in Africa, also one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. And let's keep in mind they had genocide about 25 years ago in 1994. But ever since then, their leader, Paul Kagame, has made a lot of changes to actually help them get to where they were. Since we're on that topic, keep in mind that no time during this video did Beyoncé mention Jesus. No time did anybody at all mention Jesus. And I've seen this video a few times now because I wanted to make sure I got my facts right. The only two people that said something relating to Jesus is Wizkid. He's Nigerian. Nigerians are extremely religious, because they don't want to read. No offense. I love my people. And then the other girl, she's also a Nigerian girl. I forgot her name, but she looked really, really good in the video. I forgot her name. But she said something about the Almighty too as well. But we know they're talking about Jesus or whatever, because that's how Nigerians roll. No offense, like I said, once again, I love my people. But anyway, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is doing a lot of positive things. So she said, my baby father, bloodline Rwanda. I don't think she's claiming it. I think Jay-Z probably did like one of those ancestral tests and then found out that he's actually from Rwanda. After that, she goes, this way, it's really more exciting. She goes, I am Beyoncé, Oshun, Queen Sheba, Ankh on my gold chain. Oshun, let me break that down to you. Oshun, Nigerians is pronounced Oshun. Oshun, excuse me, I'm butchering it. It's pronounced Oshun. Oshun is not just any name. There's actually Oshun State as well. But Oshun is a goddess. Oshun is a deity. Oshun is also the womb deity, fertility deity in Yoruba history and tradition. She's associated with fertility, love, purity, water, and sensuality. She's one of the most important deities available, and she loves the color yellow, right? Things that relate to yellow, things that relate to gold. And if you look at what she's wearing here, it's kind of yellowish. But I'm going to tell you why this makes more sense, that she worships Oshun, or Oshun is one of her deities that she respects and loves, and so on. There's a video that Beyonce came out. Hold Up, They Don't Love You Like I Love You. Yeah, that song. If you remember in the beginning, she was inside water, right? Oshun is what? Water deity, right? It shows, I mean, not water deity, but you associate Oshun with water, fertility, and so on. Even if you look at fertility, the baby is inside you, inside water for a while. So there's a few things you have to start piecing together. She was inside water in the beginning, and later on, she opens up a door and water comes splashing out, and then she's wearing what color? Yellow. Yellow is the color of Oshun, right? She's wearing yellow, and then she's dancing, she's walking through the street, and so on. That's one fact. Another fact is she had a Grammy performance. Go look it up. Just Google Beyonce Grammy performance gold. It should bring it up, where she's pretty much dipped down in gold and yellow. And she's doing so many dances, so many different type of moves that you can almost get, what's that word, hypnotized by looking at it. That is pretty much her worshiping Oshun right in front of the Grammys, and people did not know. The only people that kind of knew these things were people that knew African history and associate yellow with Oshun and those dance moves, and her giving hints here and there, right? So once you start learning the history, there's a few things that you have to start piecing together. Hold up while I take a sip of my sea moss smoothie. Okay, so she said, I am Beyonce, Oshun Kwachiba, Anko my gold chain. So now we know who Oshun is. There's Oshun State in Nigeria. There's Ogun State. Ogun is also another god or another deity in African history, just like you hear about Shango and so on. But it goes deeper than that. Here's how a lot of Africans have ignored their history. So when you hear certain names, like you hear names like Oguntide or Ogunbi or Shangobi or Ifamuyiwa, those kind of names where Ogun, Oshun, Ifa, Shango, their ancestors worshiped those gods. That's where they get those names from. Up until this day, there are Africans that have those names, but they have no clue on those gods. A lot of them are Christians, Muslims, blah, blah, blah. They have no clue on those gods. It gets so bad that some of them actually convert to Christianity and then change their names from what their ancestors used to worship, all because of brainwashing from the Europeans, from the colonizers, and so on. So it gets that bad. So you look at those names that, if you ever hear a name that starts with Ogun something, Shango something, Oshun something, their ancestors worship those gods, right? It's nothing negative about it. This is literally just African history. This is who you were before Europeans or colonizers. So you have to embrace that and stop ignoring your ancestors. Like, it's not, stop ignoring your ancestors. You're busy praying to somebody else that don't look like you, that have no clue who you are, and you're wondering why certain things are happening to you. Like, anyway, let's not even get deep into that. Let's move on. After that video, they show an American flag, which is clearly an American flag, but they have the colors red, black, and green. Red, black, and green are the three colors of what? Three colors of Pan-Africanism. Okay, Pan-Africanism pretty much means everything first. This color was, I think, brought together by Marcus Garvey. I think Marcus Garvey. Feel free to correct me, but I'm almost 1,000% sure it's Marcus Garvey. Okay, Marcus Garvey. Pretty much Africa to the people, Africa first. That's pretty much the whole theme behind red, black, and green. And then somebody said in the video, women reassemble us. Women taught me a lot more. Women, women, excuse me, women reassemble us. Women taught me a lot more. That's the truth. The first person in this world was most likely a woman, right? All the religious books now that you get, they try to tell you it's a man first. Even if you use your brain, the woman is the one with the womb. The woman is the one with the eggs. If by any kind of miracle, who would be in this world first? It'd be a freaking dude that doesn't have a womb. That doesn't even make any sense. It'd be a woman, because she's already, like 90% of her, she's already available to be able to create a baby, because she already got the eggs. She already got the womb. A dude don't have none of that. So if anybody's to be here first, it'd be a woman. Plus, even if you look at science, I think the oldest DNA that was ever found is that of a black woman. Like, come on, that of a black woman or that of an African woman. And they found it around Ethiopia. Like I said, Ethiopia is the mother of civilization. So once you start putting things together, it's really, really not hard. Yes, but even if you look at some movies, women are the ones. So back in, let me slow down a little bit. Ancient Egypt, women had to, um, women are the one that called a lot of shots. Like you had to go and confide in or talk to some women before you can do certain things. Look at the movie like The Matrix. Remember, The Matrix is all about waking people up. And who was it that Neo had to go and consult with when he was trying to get ideas of the future? The Oracle. And the Oracle was who? A black woman. So they put this, and then The Matrix, this is another topic. I think The Matrix was actually written by some black women, and then some people stole it from them, and then they end up later on suing them. But anyway, so these hints are in movies and videos and stuff like that. You just have to catch it. So let's move on. And then this video happens, and this woman, I don't know who she was, but I feel like her verse was very, very good. And one of the things that she said was, actually, let me rewind a little bit before we get to that. Beyoncé said, "You who are formed by the heat of the galaxy," okay? All that means is pretty much you're formed by the sun. Black people, your skin absorbs the sun. The percentage of black people getting cancer is not even something that's worth mentioning because it's extremely low. If you're not black or you don't have as much black melanin as black people, you probably will get sun cancer. You probably will have a whole bunch of other things going on. So when you hear something like you are formed by the heat of the sun, she's talking about black people. Black people actually thrive and perform better in places that are hotter. When they take black people from places that are hot and take them to places that are cold, that's when they got, now they're susceptible to a whole lot of diseases, mental issues, and so on. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then she mentioned something along dusted by the star. So just Google black people and stardust. It's a whole nother topic for another day. Okay. Then she moves on by saying, black people, when they say we are being demonic, it's an angel in disguise. So this is the woman that actually said that. When they say we're being demonic, it's an angel in disguise. The reason why that makes sense is because if you see anything relating to African history, because of all the damage that has been done, because of everything that has been hidden, you're automatically going to think it's demonic because you really are looking at it through a European mindset or European eyes. Because when they got to Africa, when they got to different parts of the world where Africans stayed at, when they saw our practice and our spiritual worship and so on, they couldn't do it. They couldn't relate to it. They couldn't understand it. So it was demonic. They had to get rid of all of that, which is why a lot of this information has been hidden. So there are a lot of people that saw this Beyoncé video and they're like, oh, this is demonic. Oh, she got bull or horns or whatever. That's demonic. Mind you, they never read anything. They don't know any history. They haven't even finished reading their Bible or the Quran or the Torah, whatever it is. Automatically they see it, but because those books speak negatively of certain things that relate to Africans. So psychologically, they've been programming you to get ready to see something like this and run from it or think that it's evil or demonic. When really, there's a whole bunch of things that you can learn from watching this and then go and research and study and actually try to get back to who you were before all the nonsense. And then videos almost at the end. Beyoncé says, the Orishas hold your hand through this journey, even before you were born. Never forget to say thank you to the ancestors. She mentioned ancestors at least 3 times all in this video, right? People ask me, hey, what do you do now or whatever? How come you're not a Christian anymore? Because I started studying theology. I started studying history. I started studying different religions. I started realizing that a lot of things has been hidden. I started realizing that those religions don't have nothing relating to African history except for the fact that they stole some information from there and they edited it and they used some other nonsense, put it all together. Once you really, really study history, you start to link these things and see where the lies come from. So when she says something along the lines of the Orishas hold your hand through this journey, that's because Orishas are like deities and like the gods. So when you hear Oshun, when she said I am Oshun, that is considered that's like what she's trying to say. So these gods and deities are actually the ones that you're supposed to reach out to, connect to, that kind of like guide you. And your ancestors, like she said, never forget to thank your ancestors. These are people that were here before you. These are people that sacrificed for you. These are the people that paved the way for you. So you literally would not be here without them. So yes, you're supposed to pour libations. You ever see those things black people do? I'm pouring this liquor for my dead homie. Ancient African history. That's like libations. That's paying respect to the dead. right? But we think, oh, it's just for rap music, right? There's a lot of things that you see that you don't even know is ancient African history. And then while she's saying all of that, she was wearing yellow. And like I've told you, whenever she's wearing yellow, that's because she's talking about Oshun, or she's trying to show you that she believes in Oshun, or she works with Oshun. Oshun. I have to pronounce it two ways. Oshun is how the Nigerians say it, but Oshun is how like everybody else says it. And then the video is over, and then the song is playing after the video is over, and then she said, ancestors put me on game, Ankh on my gold chain with all my Oshun energy. So she said Oshun again. I think she said Oshun like maybe 3 times, ancestors like 3 times, Ankh she said at least 2 times. What is Ankh? Ankh is the symbol of life, right? Ancient Egypt, they had the Ankh, which is kind of like, I wish I could show you the picture. Oh, this is the yellow she was wearing at the end of the video, right? Remember how I said Oshun, pretty much you wear yellow to worship Oshun? This is the yellow that she was wearing. But Ankh is pretty much the symbol of life. When the Greeks and the Romans came, when they started changing things, they had the cross. Okay, and another thing that I can point out is everything about them switching the religion around is meant to be for men, right? Because even if you look at the Bible, how much women can you really name off the bat in the Bible that were really doing positive things, right? For the most part, even women, they think of men when they think of the Bible. Nobody really thinking about the women in the Bible, except for maybe Mary, and that's about it. Okay. The reason why I said that is because the cross has both feminine and masculine symbols, right? The Ankh has feminine and masculine because it's a straight line and also a curve. The cross is just all straight lines, so that also gives you a hint on how it was really meant to be a society that's led by men. But anyway, just want to give a big shout out to everybody. Thank you for watching. I'm going to do a live session tomorrow on my Instagram, which is LLCool, JUWON. Tomorrow is, what's tomorrow's date? The 7th. So I'll do a live session just to answer some questions or give more insight of the video. Oh, feel free to share this video, like, subscribe, comment, whatever it is. Thank you very much. I don't even know how long this is, but peace.